Despite that, there was not one single officer in the Philadelphia Police Department who lost a day's pay, who was downgraded, who lost their job because of how they were treating sexual assaults. The head of sex crimes actually sat across the table from Vicki and me one night, and I said, you know, a woman, mind you, I said, for the love of Pete, couldn't you at least realize these were human beings and were being victimized? That you ought to have some, she went, wait a minute. She said, we didn't do anything any differently when I was running that department than the people before me. My superiors knew what we were doing. Nobody came down and said we should change anything. It's the way the system worked. They fought like bloody hell to keep from changing it. But they wanted to put this guy to death in the interest of stopping crime. It was not about what this guy did or what this guy was now going to do. It was not about all of the victims who had been improperly served there. It was about a re-election campaign. An easy way of saying, we're hard on crime here. And it was not going to be done in our name. And we didn't allow it to happen because of what we believed.
And that's back to where we sat. I want to give you that process as it evolved. We have all these brothers and sisters, they were there at the funeral. We had to bring our families together, we would talk to them. This was very early on. And we remember saying, shortly when they were around together, what are you going to do if they catch you? What are they going to do? This is a capital case. What are we going to do if they want to burn to death? This isn't, here we had all those principles and belief. Life was sacred. From the moment of conception till natural death. We now know, we didn't then, that there is a death certificate for every execution that is done in the state. There is a death certificate. And if the state does it, it's all, in all cases, the death certificate says it's a homicide. It could be a state-induced homicide. Or, let's say that if they had put pressure on us and said, well, you know, this is a heinous crime. We're going to give you justice and peace. That's what they came and told us. We're going to help you heal and get your child to be honored for all her beautiful life. And so to do that, we have to put this person to death. What if you didn't have a set of beliefs like you had? My husband's favorite line is, and it's so well said here, if you have
if you've got a set of
principles,
and can't stand by them when it's difficult, they're not your principles.
Were they ever your principles in the first place? Yeah. That's the hardest test to pass. Because I want you to understand, if you got that phone call at your office and you wanted to scream and holler, I can't believe this. That anger is there. That terrible, terrible anger, that wanting for revenge, that's natural. That's a part of all this work I had learned in social work. That is a way that you have to go through this horrible long grief process. It doesn't happen easily, it doesn't happen overnight, but you have to get through it. And what often happens to many of these victims' families, because of people like the district attorney there, is they keep telling you, you're going to find healing, you're going to find justice. And that they don't tell you is you're going to wait 10, 15, 20 years going in and out of the court systems while they try him, and there's another reversal, there's another issue that they have to bring up. And that's good. Our system should keep that in the sense that, you know, where we hear on the evening news quite regularly now, oh, this is the 139th person being exonerated from death row for a crime he never ever committed, or she never committed, right? You have to be sure you got the right person, so you have to give them all these appeals in the process. But what it does is hell. I promise you hell. We have met all those 4 years. It took him from 98 to 2002 till they caught him. We started talking to murder victims' families. We started seeing what it did to them. And we could see some real obvious differences. The people who were just holding on to that belief, who were pounding on the table, they would go testify in their state legislatures before they're with their lawyers saying, you promised me I would have this. I've been waiting for 5, 10, 15 years and you haven't executed this person yet. And that anger builds up to them and it can destroy them. We have testified opposite these people. In Maryland, very big case here was we back and forth with the family that it just tore their family apart. There's often divorce, there's dysfunction, there people lose their jobs, their health deteriorates. It's a horrendous thing it does to victims' families. That's what I mean by re-victimization by the system. Whereas what we had, and I think it's the greatest gift you can ever imagine. People will say to me, how could you do that? I just say, it's the grace of God. It was a gift beyond any gifts. We had decided, and we started down that journey, that we are not going to let that anger kill us. He's already killed our daughter. We're not going to let it destroy our family. We're not going to let all this energy be taken out of us, trying to go in and out of courts and dealing with lawyers and judges and everything. We're going to spend that time finding a way to honor that beautiful child, giving back to the things that she wanted us to do. She would say to us in the middle of the night, Mom and Dad, you know, he killed me. I know one of the murder victims' families who had such a dream. And he'd been on alcohol for a whole year, and it just about destroyed his life. And the daughter comes back at night and says, don't you do that, he killed me, Daddy. Don't you do this. You change it, just let it go. And we did. Now, we can't ever let it go. That sounds real easy. You live with this. There's no closure. You're going to live with many things, but the things we could do to honor her was just